Discord. Alright, so where we're picking back up, now that Discord's back and functioning,
Yeah.
a priest had just appraised you, Myst, and mentioned that you look like a worker of the arcane arts.
Yeah, Myst is like, yeah, you'd be right about that.
Perfect. We need someone to make a dispelling trap of some sort. I think you'll come with me. And he gestures and just kind of moves off into a room that is connected. And you turn and look, and yeah, you see Ren is staying at the table with Ardat. She's just kind of staring at him, while everyone else is shepherded off into different rooms to be apprised of their duties. As you follow him off to the side, you notice that he's taking you into a more well-lit room. It's still circular in nature, and you get the sense that you're actually kind of underground and in small pockets of what have once been like sewers, almost like cisterns that have since been cleared. And this room is kind of littered with all sorts of alchemical setups, enchanting setups. You see giant piles of what look like scrolls and quills and just various artifacts that are seemingly a little bit haphazard.
Yeah.
And
her inner want to organize things comes out for just a minute. She's like,
and he looks at you and raises a brow. And you take a minute to actually look at him. And he's actually somewhat short for an elf, probably around like 5'8", 5'7". And he's got very, very pale skin to the point where it's almost translucent. And just this jet black hair that makes him look kind of like a marble statue.
Interesting.
He gestures to everything. Well, this is what we've got.
Bit of a mess in here, isn't it?
None of us really know what we're looking at, sadly.
So none of you really have much arcane experience, do you?
Unfortunately, it's not really our forte. Arcane was kind of forbidden.
Really?
Maybe forbidden.
And yet there they
too
are
strong
using
word.
it.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. Forbidden's too strong of a word. It was simply not practiced. There was no reason to. It was not understood like the divine was. Thus, why would we? And it was it was sort of a social faux pas.
So, when you... Well, actually, one sec. Was this person with the group that ran out to try and break into the temple?
No.
Okay. Myst kind of gestures vaguely back the way they came. Is like, I saw that the others were using some sort of, she just sort of gestures, like, energy to attempt to break into the temple. Was that divine?
Yeah, it was divine.
Alright.
It's why, or we think it's probably why I didn't react well to the arcane. The two don't mingle very well.
Do you get your power from Rayolsh?
We used to. Now it seems like it's just sort of part of who we are since we've been using it for so long.
Interesting. Sort to know how that is.
Interesting's a word for it. But from what we understand, they're using arcane rituals within the temple to replicate Rayolsh's blessing, and that's kind of blasphemy.
Yeah, that doesn't seem right, especially since they're doing it all wrong and not even adhering to balance in the first place.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, this is everything we've got. Don't really know what I'm looking at.
Alright.
Might be able to help you gather a few things, but from what we understand, it's a powerful spell that,
Yeah, it looked like a glyph of warding.
yeah.
Myst just grins.
That's what it was.
You know, do you do you really need like a particular artifact to get rid of that? I thought it could just be dispelled normally.
It's a bit too strong. We tried using divine dispels, and it's, well, let's just say I've seen one of my brethren turn into a fine pink mist.
Oh, yeah.
It's powerful enough and over such a wide area that I don't think a normal waving your hand dispel will work. I don't know how it works again, but that's how it works with us.
All right. And this rod that. Well, wait. Does Myst even know it's a rod? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That was a task. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, so this rod that you're getting. What does it do by itself exactly? Why do you think it can be turned into a dispelling device?
It's more of something for the inside.
Oh.
It's an old divine artifact that's more a key than anything else. You see, the inside of the temple, the deepest reaches are trapped, for lack of a better word, to stop animals and various other individuals up to no good from progressing too deeply into our vaults and raiding us. And unfortunately, this was the key that was used to dispel those barriers. It's less for the outside and more for the inside.
All right. Interesting. Miss looks thoughtful for a moment, and she's kind of, as she's thinking, she's looking around at all the stuff just scattered all over the place. And she's vaguely seeing if anything in particular catches her eye, but
Make a perception check.
Oh god, I gotta open my thing again. Hold on.
Yeah. Open your shit.
Here it is. That's not it. There we go.
Okay. You look out, and a few things catch your eye. Actual spell components. A quill that definitely looks like it would be used in scribing certain things, where some of the others are a bit mundane or cracked. You managed to pick out enough materials that you could probably put something together that might work, but the vast majority of what you see is kind of not high quality.
Yeah, just like, well, this looks magic.
Yeah, it was like, well, we read in a book that it uses the eye of a newt, so we just got a bunch of newts and plucked their eyes out.
Oh my god. She has sort of, like, her eyes stop on a few things, but generally she has sort of a bemused expression. And, she's like, alright, well, there's some things here that I think I could use to help make something of the sort that you're talking about. And I have an odd question. This rod, you're using it entirely for dispelling, right? Or would you say you're using it to help start something anew, or bring back what once was?
He just kind of gives you a look. We're just using it as a key to get in. It's not a very powerful artifact. Most of our artifacts lost their power, in fact, over the course of the years.
Alright.
We think it's because they've been using arcane energy, and arcane and divine, I think I said, don't get along too well.
Yeah. Well, sort of, yeah.
At least around here, arcane doesn't play well with realmic divine, at the very least.
Myst looks more thoughtful about that than she probably should.
He goes, here, let me show you. And he holds out his hand, and you see a little ball of light form atop his palm and prestidigitation this. I know that's a spell you arcane folk use.
All right. She does. She doesn't really know what she's making it into. Maybe just a bigger ball of light.
Okay. The second you cast prestidigitation on it, or the thaumaturge ball just disappears. Just, yeah, kind of negates it out.
That's interesting. And another odd question. Would you say that the realmic deities in general, are they more like what they represent, or are they like actual deities?
At this point, he reaches over and pulls up a chair and sits down, and just gives you a look like, oh boy, here we go. And he shrugs one shoulder and goes on to say, it's hard to say. We've never seen one.
Really? Even your high priest?
I don't think Ardat's ever seen one. He's never mentioned it. It's simply we are given the edicts, and we practice them.
I mean, I would think that they aren't necessarily the forces of their realm of influence, because if they were gone, then there would be no balance anywhere.
That would be unfortunate.
Yeah.
And you see he gets this, like, distant look to his eyes and brief horror.
Yeah, Myst looks at him like, I know, right?
Like, I'd rather not imagine a world like that.
Yeah.
It's bad enough here as it is.
So I'm either I don't think that they are the forces, or they are still around. So either way, you probably won't have to worry about that at least. Myst is also, like, when she's been talking and writing, she's gathering the things that she looks like could be useful.
Okay, yeah,
Like,
you're snatching up a few things, gathering them into a little pile near you.
yeah, and then she starts looking them over and, like, writing down sort of an inventory of what she's got, and then trying to think of, what she's gonna do with all this stuff in order to make it into a more powerful dispelling instrument, I guess.
Okay. Let me see here. Okay, yeah, you see, you look over and you see a sachet of some kind of dust, and you do know that dust is typically a component used to conceal something or settle something in a specific spot. You see a few gemstones, and you know that gemstones are often components. They're more often used in divine spells, but there are a few arcane spells that use them as, like, foci, or focuses. Foci? Whatever. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And then you see various other spell components. You see stuff like, eyes and bat wings. Stuff that, is very clearly gathered at haphazard, but it's still stuff that can be used.
Alright, yeah. She gathers all the things that could potentially be used for this sort of spell, and she just sort of puts them there. And is there anything that, aside from the rod itself, that is obviously missing that would need to be necessary for this kind of thing?
No. I mean, make an Arcana check.
Alright, here we go. Damn,
Yeah.
natural 20.
You sit there and you're thinking as you're gathering the materials, and you think even without a rod you'd be able to make kind of a mass dispel sort of scroll almost.
Hmm.
It would be more than a spell, like a ritual sort of
Yeah.
thing. Um, that would be much stronger than a dispel magic, but would require some time to set up, and would have a chance of not working.
Yeah.
Um,
It'd probably be better with a focus of some sort, like the rod.
sure, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know that like if you added a focus that was connected to what you were trying to dispel, it would definitely be more focused.
All right.
But this
Well,
is also one of the first rituals you're actively putting together in some time.
yeah.
So you're a little
Would,
shaky, but you think you can do it.
would she need like other people in order to do it with her, like to help channel the energy or whatever?
No, this would be a ritual that she could do on her own given enough time. Adding other people to the equation, unless they were equally as skilled as she, might make
Yeah.
things harder.
Might be a problem. Yeah.
And this is all just information that you're recalling based on your studies, as your wizardly studies combined with your warlock experience.
Yeah. She's like, well, I think I've got most of what I need here to make some sort of mass dispelling ritual focused into the rod once we get it. So there's that. I guess I got to wait for it.
Is there anything you can do to prep until the rod is here?
Is there?
Um, given your experience with spells, yeah, you don't need it all at once.
All right. Yeah. So what can she do?
You could start putting it together. It would be a skill challenge to begin putting this spell of sorts together, and it would take you quite some time and would leave you very tired. But
All
you
right.
could
Like,
you
about
could
how
begin.
much time would it be?
Probably about 6 to 8 hours to craft it to the point where it is satisfactory. To craft it beyond satisfactory, probably be about 10.
All right. Miss thinks about this, and she's like, "Yeah, I can start putting things together now, but there's another member of our group that wasn't with us. This will take quite a while, maybe like 10 hours or something. I should probably let them know that we're not going to be around for a bit."
Sure. I don't.
Yeah. Mist uses the thingy on her ear and sees if she can contact Nenia at all.
Make an Arcana check again.
Boy. 32.
You get a message out, and you're able to acknowledge that it has been sent and received, but you are not wholly confident that it made it there kind of in one piece. Because the
Okay.
spell seemed to have trouble finding her.
Yeah, alright. I'm just like, well, that's the best that she can do right now. It's
Yeah.
not like she could go find Nenia, so.
Yeah.
Just like, alright, well, I guess I'll get to work on this.
Okay. You stretch out, kind of wriggle a few times because this is the first big ritual you've crafted. Um, all things considered, it may be the first big ritual that you've crafted, ever.
Yeah, well, probably. Because she was part of rituals. She was never allowed to make them for the
Yep.
most part.
Yep.
Unless
But
she was experimenting.
that's how you're able to kind of begin putting this one together. You are very keenly aware that this is beyond the scope of most spellcasters.
Yeah.
So you start gathering some pieces up, and the guy looks at you and, "You need anything from me, or just be on standby?"
Um, I don't think there's anything in particular, right? Like, nothing standing out.
Yeah, nothing in particular.
It's like, I guess, just, yeah, not being bothered by, anything that might disrupt all this stuff would be great.
Right. All right. I'll step outside and tell everyone to shut up, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh boy, you're
Thank you.
roboting.
Oh no.
Hold on. Let me move the server. All right. Try now. Oh no. Oh no.
Is this
Oh,
better?
yes.
Okay, good.
Much
Cool.
better.
Fucking Discord watching you.
We only need you to work for a bit longer, Discord. Come on, buddy.
Gods.
So the guy, I'll keep him outside and out of your way then. The rod should be back. Definitely not as long as it would take you to complete that, but I don't know how skilled your friend is at breaking and entering.
Oh, Ren is pretty good at those sorts of things.
That's...
Getting out of trouble, though, that's... Hope no one catches her.
Right. He steps over to the door, opens it, walks out, closes it. And you look over the materials and you start gathering things together. And I need you to begin with a perception check.
Oh, boy. 24.
Okay. Looking around, you manage to find a spot that is big enough to spread everything out and start the ritual. Which is saying something, because this is not a large room.
Yeah.
So you walk over, pull your robes up around you like a weird nest, and settle down on the floor and start laying things out in the order that you think you're going to need them. Now I need you to make your first Arcana check.
Alrighty. All these rolls are happening.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You take a few moments to gather your thoughts, and you start by grabbing one of those, like, herbal grinding bowls. You grab one of those, and you grab a few of the, like, animal bits. Like a bat wing, what looks like maybe like a dead centipede. Some stereotypical wizardy stuff. And then you grab a few drops of mercury. And you drop it in on top of that, and you begin grinding it up. And you're not 100% sure what you're doing. This is somewhat experimental for you.
But she's excited anyway, because
yeah.
it's experimenting. Come on.
Yeah. You are aware that mercury is often used to incite some form of change in shape. Due to Mercury's kind of shifting nature. And then the various animal parts are just things that a spell takes sometimes.
Yeah.
So you're grinding that stuff up. And now I need you to make a sleight of hand check.
Oh, good gods. Okay.
Yeah. If you thought this was going to be stuff you're good at all the time, you got another thing coming.
No. Hey.
Nice. Okay. Huh, okay. Yeah, you continue doing this until it's the satisfactory kind of goop. But the consistency of it is definitely very strange because it is a mercury-infused substance. And you reach over and you take a very tiny knife and you start cutting it up into little beads. And you reach in and pluck out the little beads, and they're... You know that if most people touch them, they would just be this weird goopy stuff. But since you are a wizard and practiced in the arcane arts, you're able to pluck it up and hold it. And you have 3 of these beads, and you lay them out before you. uh, now I need you to make another Arcana check.
Here we go.
Yeah.
27.
Okay. Yeah, you run your hand over the top of them, trying to incite some sort of change using just arcane, and a soft blue light emanates from your hand, and it turns into that inky blackness that you know so well, and it reaches down and envelops each of the little beads. And suddenly you feel this weird little spike, not in pain, but it feels like the inky blackness typically flows out of you. Now it feels like it's kind of stuck to your hand, like
Huh.
webbing almost. And it's tangibly sticky.
She kind of looks at her hand for a second, like that's odd. And she sort of glances at the tentacles and Vathan as though they would have anything to say about that.
Vathan's looking at it and kind of flaps over, lands like on a particularly close chunk of your robes, and reaches out, does a balancing act on one of his claws, and swipes at the sticky stuff. And when he pulls his talon away, it pulls back this substance. And he just kind of shakes it off, and it hits the ground and shrivels up and evaporates. And the tentacles seem like they're leaning forward almost. They're typically flush against your skin, but it feels like they're straining, almost like they're trying to look at what's happening.
Hmm. She might, like, she sort of tries to move her wrist so that the tentacles might be able to see what's on her hand.
All right.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. You kind of twist to give the tentacles a better look. And they kind of wriggle out and they twirl around your wrist, and it's kind of painful. It starts to cut off the circulation in your hand, but they start wrapping around the sticky black substance. And they wrap tightly enough that it turns into this, like, cord, like a corded rope. And right before it, your hand is beginning to go numb. And right before it starts to get worrisome, the inky blackness snaps.
Huh.
And the tentacles unwind and release it, and it sinks down into the orbs, and the orbs seem to drink it up. And now, where they were kind of like pea-sized, now they're about, like, marble-sized.
She looks at the tentacles and it's like, well, that was certainly interesting. Thank you?
They are more active than they normally are.
Hmm.
Alright, so now I need you to make an investigation.
Oh boy. Here we go. 18.
Okay. You take a few moments to try and figure out what the hell just happened. Because again, you're experimenting, and that's the first time your magic has become tangible like that.
Yeah.
And you know that's not really supposed to happen. Arcane energy is arcane and kind of intangible. But you're leaning down and looking at it, and using your Eldritch sight, you do see that it was beginning to take on the glow of magic, and now it is taking on the glow of, like, a black light. And now, what would you like to do with these?
Oh god. Well, in order for the task to be completed, what does she need to do with them? Like, what's the logical step for her to take afterwards?
Your end goal is to get them into a formation similar to a glyph or a rune that would counteract the one that is placed over the building. But you do realize that you don't know the shape of the one placed over the building, so this is going to be some sort of guesswork.
Okay.
But you need to spread the material. You need to spread the, or the idea was to spread the little mercury stuff out and etch some things into it. Well, spread it out, harden it, and then etch things into it. But now that your inky blackness is a part of it, you're not quite sure what your plan is at this point.
Yeah.
You just know that your end goal is to turn this thing into a large enough rune.
All right. And the rune is meant for dispelling, particularly,
Yes.
right?
Yes. The idea is you're also making a glyph of warding, but putting a very high level version of dispel magic inside of it.
Okay. Um. All right. Well, she's looking at these things. She's taking a little while to think, and let me see. Going through some stuff right now. Nope, I don't think it's up there. She's. So it would be better to like spread them out, sort of, and
Potentially, yeah. Again, the idea was to kind of smooth them into, like, paint with them almost.
okay.
You got they were originally much smaller globs of quote unquote paint, but now they are significantly larger.
All right. She thinks a moment, and she decides that since they're probably tied to like the unknown in some manner now, she's gonna say a little riddle to them that falls in line with what she's hoping they'll end up doing in order to, hopefully potentially like amplify that intent into them.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, yeah, that makes total sense.
All right, so she takes in a breath, and then she's like, "Where there was, there then is not, his fleeting cycle spun, and left an absence in the spot where once there was someone, or something. It's quite hard to tell, since now all that remains are hollow solid thoughts which fell when tied to their old names. It is a lack, but what's unseen is not only the state, but whether you would seek what's been, or choose another gate." And she like traces the symbol over them.
Okay.
Just sort of holds her hands out there for a sec.
Performance check.
Oh boy. Performance.
Yeah.
Here we fucking go. I'm gonna luck this.
Okay.
Hey!
Okay.
The second one.
Yeah, no shit. Okay, yeah, you feel the tentacles on your arm reach out and they stretch past your hand when you're tracing the symbol in, and they join you with tracing out the symbol. And briefly, there's a flash of inky black energy, and it's too fast for you to really see what it was, but it was definitely a shape. And now the little orbs are they've grown the size of like a golf ball, and they're kind of humming.
Interesting. She writes some notes down, because at the same time as she's doing this, she's just kind of excited, like, I don't know what's happening, but it's neat.
Yeah.
And so she's hoping they have some form of "this is what you're meant for" in them, and she will, I guess, attempt to like. Well, can she tell if she still needs to sort of make them into that runic symbol?
There's no way of really telling. All you know is that was kind of your idea. And the quote-unquote paint is getting bigger and bigger as you kind of imbue it with his strength. But the general idea probably hasn't changed.
Okay. Yeah. So if she does this, like, is the rod eventually going to be put in the center of these things?
Um,
Or, like, I'm trying to picture how this ritual's gonna go. Like, is it placed on top of them, or is it placed in the center of them? Like a spell circle.
what you'll probably end up using the rod for is, yes, sort of like a spell circle, but you'll probably be holding on to it and using it sort of like a wand.
Okay.
Yeah, since it's
So,
you have to activate the ritual, you will still be channeling the arcane to kickstart it.
alright. So, I guess she's gonna. Since it's supposed to be sort of like a spell circle, she's gonna. And there's 3 of them, right?
Yes.
She's gonna spread them apart in, like, sort of an equal distance kind of triangle thing.
Okay.
And then I guess she's gonna try to write the runes with them that she thinks she should.
Okay. Make make another sleight of hand.
God damn it.
Actually, make a wisdom. Just
Oh,
plain
boy.
old wisdom check.
Okay. Hey.
Okay. You grab like a like a cement spreader of sorts. You grab one of those as you're about to start spreading these orbs out. You hear a quiet whisper. That's just, use me.
Oh shit.
No.
Is that familiar?
No. You've never heard that before.
Where did it sound like it came from anywhere? Like,
You can make a perception check to try and see.
all right, because she's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you sit there and, like, right as the words pass by your ears, they twitch around looking for the source of it, and you realize that it's coming from the air around you, like, like in a circle around you. It's coming from all sides.
She can't see anything with Elder's sight, though, can she?
Nope.
She's sitting there like, man. She's not entirely sure what to make of this. She's looking at the tentacles again to see if they're still having a grand old time over there.
Yeah, they're loving this.
God. She can't help but grin, but she's sort of like, Can she tell if there's, like, divine energy in this place?
I mean, it's a safe bet to say yes, unless you're looking for a specific sort of divine energy.
Okay. I mean, she's sort of guessing if there was, it would be possibly of Raelsh, so...
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to tell in here.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
she's kind of like, man, I don't know what the fuck that was, but... She's not entirely sure how to communicate with this thing, so she does what she's most familiar with and just sort of does telepathy of not necessarily words, but of the feeling of question, how would I use you?
Okay. Make a charisma check.
Oh boy. Wait, that's in the way. Here we go. 20.
Okay. You reach out with your mind, and you just hear the words, "I am you."
That? She's just kind of like, well. She doesn't really know what to make of that. I mean, she sort of sits there for a second, like, okay, all right. Well, then she just sort of, I don't know, she's thinking a million miles a minute, like, wasn't I just doing all this stuff anyway? I thought I was already doing this. Like, but she's like, all right, she's, she looks at the tentacles again, and she's just kind of like, is this what is not? As though that makes any sense.
They look like someone at a baseball game.
Oh my god.
They're just like straight up waving back and forth.
Alright, okay.
They're definitely more active than you've seen them in a long time, at least within a year.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I guess, like, she's sitting here kind of uncertain, but kind of excited. She takes out her, the first symbol thing that she got.
Okay.
And,
Wait, what do you mean by that?
I mean the one that she found. The first one she found a billion years ago.
Oh, okay, okay.
And she... she speaks the riddle that she did
Oh no,
those other
roboting.
times. Oh god.
Just give it a second.
Discord.
Just give it a second. Alright, try again?
Hey. Am I robot-y still?
A little bit.
Fuck damn it.
Fuck
It
that.
doesn't even say that my connection's bad. What the fuck?
Yeah, let me move the server again.
Discord's just being a jerk.
Yeah. Speak, Das, speak.
Nah.
Okay.
Oh. Oh, okay.
There we go.
Hey.
I think there's something up with the East Coast server, so I'd have to move it off and then back.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Alright, so what are you doing? Sorry.
No, she got her symbol and she was gonna just out of, you know, whatever, this weird fucking intuition feeling, she was gonna speak the riddle that she did to open the portal to Sigil and to open all those other portals, because that's the only one she says I in.
Okay. Do you want to speak it or just say you speak it?
Sure, I'm gonna do it. Why
Okay.
not?
Alright, go for it.
No one's waiting on me.
Yeah. Have fun with it.
So yeah, she holds her symbol out, like, first she puts it between her hands, and then she puts it down sort of in the middle of the triangle. And then she's like, I can be found where one needs finding, but finding me is absurd. I can creep in your ears betwixt whispers and fears, and yet I will never be heard. I embrace you with your musings, but I cannot be held. And the more I give, the less I get, but in asking I have you felt. And what is not? But my sway can't be fought by scholars nor dreamers. No mind can save themselves. For if ever a thought, I hold you, free in my bind. Don't think you can deceive me, for deceit would need me to stand. When concerned with your fate, you stand at my gate. But when that ends, I'll release your hand. And that's what she does. She lets more of the inky blackness appear if it wants to.
Okay, yeah. When the riddle finishes, you feel this kind of like deflation feeling inside of you, like you're suddenly very, very tired. And yeah, the inky blackness kind of, it feels like it's seeping out of your pores almost. and it pulls around you in like a billowing smoke that slowly turns into this really it it turns into deeper and thicker robes around you, kind of like a very dark cape.
Hmm.
And beneath you, you look down at your feet and you see your symbol etching itself into the mercurial substance. Something is invisibly spreading it out into the shape of your symbol.
Hmm.
And this golden sheen is kind of gilding it as it goes across. Um, and more is seemingly being taken out of you. You're getting more and more exhausted, more and more tired as this goes on. Um, and the black cloak of just arcane energy is forming around you until it threatens to engulf you. It's turning
Mm.
into like a hooded cloak almost, and your vision's starting to go black. And you do see that your symbol has finished on the ground, but everything is black around you. What do you do?
Is it? Does she feel alarmed about this?
No. It feels like you are being embraced,
Okay.
but you are also exhausted.
Yeah. Uh, would it? I. Okay, so the thing at the bottom seems like it's finished.
The last thing you saw was, yeah, it's finished, but now all you feel is this swirling, uh, cloak of arcane energy around you, and you see nothing but darkness.
Okay. I mean, she's not like gonna necessarily shoo it away, but she might try to back up and sit down.
Okay. It follows you. You take a few steps back, and it follows you. And then you hear like this whisper in your ear that just says, "Use me. I am you. Welcome me. Use me."
But it's not familiar.
It's getting more and more familiar.
Familiar
Now that you're like
as
wrapped up in this, it feels like it is speaking into your ears, and yeah, it is familiar.
familiar as in
As in what
related
you
to the
think.
unknown, or
Yeah,
familiar as in heard this before somewhere else.
as in it's a sound that you think is familiar, but you've never heard before.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
um she's mm, I don't know, man. She's got This is a hard decision here cuz
Yeah.
okay, she's tired as fuck. um I don't know if she would like she probably wouldn't really know what to do. like um she wouldn't know how to welcome anything, really. She wouldn't know how to use
Um,
herself
I
any
mean,
more than
you can make an Arcana check if you'd like.
okay. She's trying to figure out what the fuck as much as she can in this sort of half delirious state.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Um, you gain the sudden, sharp insight that it is trying to get you to give up your sense of self.
Oh, yeah.
It's saying that it is you, you are it, sort of thing. Um, it's seductive, almost. Like it's trying to use you for something.
Oh. Well, in that case, then she's just like, nope.
Okay. Um,
Yeah, if it seems like it's trying to like take over her and like take her choice and potential abilities away, she's just gonna like
Okay, one sec, because Discord.
explode. Okay, yeah, Discord. Bye.
Yeah, 1 second. Back and forth. Alright, say something?
Something.
Yeah, that fixes it. Whatever.
Jesus.
Okay, so yeah, if it's... Yeah, go on.
Yeah, she sort of is gonna like, since the energy's sort of cloaked around her, she's gonna try to like just sort of push all of it out away from her.
Okay.
Not like away like I don't want you anymore, but away like listen. I'm keeping my own sense of self and possibility, alright? Fuck you for now.
Okay, charisma. Make an attack roll with your spell attack.
Oh god, okay. Attack roll.
Yeah, with all like your spell attack bonus and all that.
Alright. Shit, I gotta look at my other thing, because that changed. So that's a d20 plus spell attack bonus?
Yep.
Alright.
Plus your proficiency and all that.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you're casting like Firebolt or something.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, with your force of will, you start to break free from it, and as you do, there's this very familiar sensation that it was one of the first things that you ever remember. And it is like an awakening. It is like the first time you awoke as Myst, and not whatever you were before.
Yeah.
And you feel a very sharp, sudden pain in your arm, around where the tentacles are. And you take, hold on. You take 16 points of psychic damage. And you look over to your arm, and the tentacles have fused into your arm.
Oh shit. Damn. Would that actually be half, or would it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
So you take the 8 points of psychic damage. But you look down and the tentacles are fused with your arm. There is no differentiating point. There's no scar or anything. It looks like you just always had tentacles coming out of your wrist.
Damn. All right. She's just like, oh, what? But she's still tired as fuck. She might not even know if this is like actually happening or not.
Yeah.
Are the tentacles doing anything? Like, are they just like, yeah, that happened?
Yeah, they're back to normal, just kind of lazily waving in the air.
Okay. Myst is just like, well, that yeah, okay. is the dark energy still around, or did it sort of dissipate?
It dissipated. It's completely gone at this point, except for when you look down at the floor. Your symbol is painted out in the sticky mercurial liquid. And it is black and gold against the floor. But you notice that it's like an inch off of the floor.
Huh. Yeah. She thinks that's pretty neat, but she's gonna take, like, can she afford to take a break right now in the ritual
No.
casting? Alright, then she's not gonna.
Okay.
I don't know what she needs to do next. But...
Well, you look at that and you're like, I think that might be good. And then it occurs to you that you've got to get it somewhere. So make another Arcana check.
Yeah, for as long as she can, she stays sitting, but once
Okay,
she
yeah.
figures out what she's doing, and
Okay.
she'll get up and.
You your first thought is to put it to paper, but then you try to stand and you're just too woozy. Um, it's just you shake your head once and it feels like the world is spinning. Um, so you know that you cannot get it to paper as it is. But you think for a second and you recall that there's a dwarven form of magic that you once heard of, called rune magic. Uh, and you would be able to cast a spell if it was carved or tattooed onto your body in some way.
Oh God.
Um,
Okay, but she's
and
already got shit all over
as you're
her.
thinking about this, the tentacles kind of come straight up in attention, like they're reacting to your thoughts at this point.
Damn. All
Um,
right. She kind of looks at him.
and then they slowly turn to point at the symbol. And you can actually feel them moving out. It feels like fingers almost.
Jeez. She's like, well, I'm probably not hallucinating. Maybe. and, but it's her symbol, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, okay. That's already on her, though. So, like, she kind of, in some, like, okay. So if the tentacles are like fingers,
They feel like fingers to her. Like, when they move, it feels like she's
yeah.
moving additional fingers.
So could she let them do what they're wanting to do?
By all means.
Yeah, well, she's gonna.
Alright, just in your exhaustion, you go, fuck it, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And you lean down enough so the tentacles can reach out, and they're dragging you almost. It feels like they're pulling, and it is an unpleasant sensation with them pulling. It feels like someone's tugging on your finger. Or it feels like, you know what it feels like if someone's like trying to pull you along by your fingers?
Yeah.
And you're not able to like completely go with them.
She tries to scoot, man.
Yeah, it's like an insistent child tugging at your fingers. And it's just kind of uncomfortable. And they reach out and they dip into the inky fluid, and there's this quiet noise, and the fluid sucks into the tentacles and then steeps down over the back of your hand. And the symbol is now inside of your skin. That same fluid, and it's kind of shifting. Like it looks alive almost, but you sit there and using your just general knowledge, you're like, oh, that's just mercury.
She kind of looked at it for a second, and in her delirium, it's almost like she's waiting.
Oh, I lost you.
Off, and you're just kind of
Okay.
waiting for it to happen.
Okay.
Because she's like wondering if interfering with her bindings might do anything, but I'm guessing it doesn't, right?
No.
Alright, so eventually she's like, well, we got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it feels a little heavy on your hand. And you just hear another one of those whispers of one day. And then you lose consciousness.
Well, shit.
Oh, no,
she
go on and...
like,
yeah.
She felt like being rebellious.
Yeah, no, the last thing you think is, fuck you.
Yeah.
And then you lose consciousness.
There she go.
And that's your solo session.
Hey. That was sick.
Cool, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Now they're just gonna find Myst passed passed out on the floor.
Yeah, and Myst has no idea how long this actually took.
It's fine.
Um,
She doesn't even have the thing. It's fine.
yeah. You just got nice tentacles fused into your arm now.
It's great.
Yeah.
Everything's fine.
It's what Myst always wanted, right?
Yeah, it's great. This is her. It was a nice present.
Yeah. And I will have an item card for you for those sometime
sick.
within the next few days.
Hey, that's neat.
Yeah. Alright, stream. We're gonna cut out. Bye, friends that are watching.
Bye.